Hey Internet, this is Gunter with Mini Mishaps Games, and today we're running down our second month of 30 minis in 30 days. Okay, so now we get to some of the reflection part of being a new painter, which is that I feel like a lot of the minis in this series got worse than the last series. But really what happened is that I'm trying new techniques and I'm pushing myself, and it just means that the mistakes are going to be more obvious. The last month kind of went from no experience to just sort of paint by numbers in the areas on the minis, and so this time we started doing a little bit more, trying to do edge highlighting, trying to do any regular highlighting, trying to do washes and different things like that that are you'll see the tutorials that are meant for beginners. That's kind of the stage that month 2 took us. So we're going to run through these real fast and tell you about the minis that we did. So the first 4 here, I think, are actually minis that I did for one of the D&D players. So we've got a little halfling from a board game, I think. I don't know what board game. So if you know that, let us know in the comments, because they basically just handed the mini over and said, paint this. And I said, okay, I will. So the little halfling there, he's got his blue alert sword for danger when it's near. And also, the player actually based his mini, and it's a cutout piece of a card, some kind of plastic card that he had. Alright, then we've got the same. This is, I think, a wizkids elf fighter. Because he had 2 of each, he had the 2 elves, which was in the first series, was the first one of the 2, and this is the second. And then in this series, we've got the 2 dwarves as well. So here's the first one. We've got kind of a magical rune effect that happened on the axe that was mostly an accident, and I thought it was cool enough to try and replicate on the shoulder pad and the shield there. And also I love teal, so I like the way that one's mustache turned out too, a lot better than the 6-armed man in the last series had an accidental beard because it was supposed to be the chin strap of his helmet. And these are all still wizkids. This is the second dwarf. So the first one got a magic shield. This one got a wooden shield. And they both got silver armor. So this is a figure from the Yashima board game. And this is one of, I just couldn't get it exactly the way I wanted. It doesn't look bad. It's kind of turned into a 2-tone. I tried to do some of the shading with blue to get the fact that he was sort of a Arctic snow, but it just kind of looks dirty, dingy. And I didn't get the lamp bright like I wanted it, so that's kind of dark as well. Now this is a metal miniature, and I'm not positive, but I think it came from a Kickstarter where I got like 1 million skulls, little plastic skulls for making bases or putting on minis or whatever. I like this guy because he doesn't have an arm, so we've got the one-armed man here casting in the middle of a hurricane, it looks like. This is another Yashima miniature, and I liked how the fire turned out in the base. And the strangest part about this miniature is that whatever it is that's across the back of her hips there, I think it was maybe meant to be a sword, but if it maybe was a little miscast or something like that, it looks like she's got a golf club that she's ready to take into battle. Okay, another one of the Yashima series. This guy, I really liked how the deep, basically double contrast. There's no real painting or layering. It's all wash and highlight for the ropes on the stomach. Originally this was going to be Niklas, our rope elf, but because of the way that his face and the black and white turned out, he ended up looking a little bit more necrotic or evil than Nicholas, who is a little bit more like Santa Claus in actuality. But he's got bright red apples that he's holding, and also a basket of bright red apples on his back. And those both turned out pretty good, I think. Okay, so this is an abandoned mini from a long time ago that's just been riding along in the cases. It was a heroforge, one of the early, their crystal white plastic or whatever it was. This mini actually featured in a collaborative video with Frybox64 in our Take That series. That's a kind of a try something new every month, and this time she did her first mini paint. She did awesome, and you can check out her video and that collaborative video on her channel, Frybox64. So this was sort of me just being in the background and painting while she was doing her video. Okay, so this little guy, this little starfish guy, was actually from our Make It From Scratch minis series. So this is the clay and wire mini. And so this guy's made out of scratch clay and armature. Glued him to a little gem there. And so there's a video on that. You can go find that in the channel. I'll put the links in the bottom. And this, another challenge. This was our first random challenge, which was a horror theme. And the random mini, like I said earlier, was the Captain America that we drew. Which is why I thought it was so funny at the beginning when we picked out another Captain America, what the odds were out of that big box. So I really liked how that one turned out. There's a video for that as well, for the challenge for Captain America. Alright, this is a pack zebra. This was a piece of terrain that came with a terrain crate. And who doesn't want a pack zebra? Painted up a couple of treasure boxes. So this set of 30 is going to have a little bit more terrain in it, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, with the holiday, everything got kind of scrunched, and new COVID plans and everything. So, and then the second thing was Frybox64 borrowed the big box of painted, or primed rather, minis for her video. And so I need to get that back, so I have stuff to paint. So there's a few pieces of terrain that made up the difference in this video. So these are just simple treasure boxes. These are treasure boxes that I made. So I have a little rubber mold that I mold cast treasure boxes with, and so let me just give them a little brown and a little silver. Alright, another Yashima character. Most of the rest of the Yashima characters that I had left are going to be in this series. So if they haven't found their way into the hands of D&D players, then most of them will be done after this series. So this is sort of a Eskimo bard. Really liked the instrument that he's got, and I really liked how the shading on the cloak and the beard and stuff turned out on that one. Okay, so this, yes, you caught me. There was a baby Yoda in the first video, but somebody liked that one so much they wanted to take it home, so I painted up another one. And so this again is a 3D printer accuracy test. So it's a lot smaller than the other ones too. I should have put something for scale, but it's pretty little. Same terrain crate terrain. This is a stack of treasure boxes with some scrolls and a map, and I love the way the map turned out. I tried to do a little miniature scale version of the Gatherverse continent on there, so that was a lot of fun. And these terrain pieces are great for being on hand when you put one drop of paint and all you need is one brush fill, so that you don't waste paint. You can just be like, okay, I'm going to paint the terrain, all the other colors that use up the paint before it goes to waste. Another Yashima, and this one I like too because of course I love teal, but I like how the highlights worked on the cloak, and also I don't know if there is a art word for what this was, but on her staff there I actually took pink and purple paints without mixing them. I took 2 paints into the brush and then just sort of let it collage out the way that it came out. So if you know what that's called, I would love to know what that word is. Alright, we have got our hellhound here. This one is another WizKids, and I basically washed on accident the it was another one that I this time painted really light pink. It was too light, and I thought I would try and darken it with some red, and it really made it look like muscles. I was pretty happy how that one turned out. Another piece of terrain, it's a bench. This is a dollar store bench from the a similar set to the kids throwing snowballs you saw in the drawing there. And another piece from Terrain Crate. We got some shields, some armor, weapons in a pile, and these are great for marking and kind of bringing the map to life. Okay, so this one is a little bit strange looking. When I first tried making clay from scratch armature creatures, this was the first one I made. It was meant to be a bullywug at the time, but it also then got the honors of being the first thing that I mold cast. So to learn those skills or try those skills out. So this is a mold casted copy of that first clay miniature that I made. This one I painted up to kind of be like a magic wielding, who looks like kind of like Grover, I think, with the eyes and the nose there. Maybe I should have made his nose orange. But that's basically a homemade mini, home mold casted, and then home painted. Alright, so some of you might have just seen our second challenge video, and our random painting challenge number 2 was a chemistry challenge. And so the pink you see in this wererat is actually red food coloring. Soaked them in red food coloring and vinegar, and then painted over that to get the other colors. And this is a WizKids wererat. Okay, so we've got, this is another set that, between this set and the last set, are mostly going to be done. This was a set of metal cat miniatures that I got in a Kickstarter. And so I haven't done a ton of the metal, but this is supposed to be like her gem is kind of taken her over and possessed her. So that's why she got the blue around the eyes as well. This is a Yashima figure, and it's lubu, I think. But this, I really like how the gold worked with the white for creating the different shapes. He's got skulls on his shoulder pads and things like that. Another Yashima character, I have no idea who it is. I liked how the white fell on the robe. It's a pretty stock and file miniature. Otherwise, he's just holding swords and kind of a basic pose, but fun one to paint up. Alright, and this was a 3D print misprint, and I have, since making this video, I have touched up the base to clear up where the feet are. But this is a white dragonkin mage, and so he's got his cloak on, and heroforge 3D printed. Alright, this is another heroforge that the 3D printer kind of boggled a little bit. I added some thermoset plastic to the bow to make it a little bit longer on the bottom, since the bottom half of the bow had not printed with that overhang. But I liked how the pouches and the swords and the highlighting and stuff turned out. The arrow is kind of cartoonishly large and thick, so it was hard to kind of make it fit reasonably there. And last but not least, we've got our traveling bard, another heroforge. Basically, the awesome guys at Nerd HQ do the 3D printing, and every once in a while the 3D printer process misbehaves, and they end up with these minis that are great for practicing for new painters. basically is how that comes out. So next up, we have got a little zombie from a big bag of zombies that I got pretty cheap. And he's got accidental sunglasses. Now this was an attempt at, he's got intentional sunglasses, but they ended up making him look a little bit more like a bandit around his eyes there. This was an attempt at stippling, so I tried to do some stippling with the red and the white, but it ended up that he just kind of looks like he's ready to go to work for a fast food chain there, but that happens sometimes. It was good to get that bit of practice in there. And our last mini of the series, this is the Snow Mage. This is another Nerd HQ 3D print, another heroforge character, and they had two of this print that it took them till the third try. So the first one of the next series, or one of the first ones, will probably be a twin and opposite to this one. So this one was snow, the other one will probably be magma or fire for that. So this has been the second round of 30 minis in 30 days. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, hit that bell, and if you can support on Patreon, we've got that set up and all the links are in the description. I have also put the links for all the different projects mentioned in this video, and we'll hope to see you next time. Thanks, Internet.